And we are back on the WHHI-TV Daily News. With me now is Josh Gruber, and he is the Deputy Town Manager for Hilton Head. Thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and so a subject that's kind of been talked about a lot recently, because there's a lot going on with it, is the strategic plan. And so we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit deeper today. So, give us kind of an overview about that, and then we'll get into some specifics.
Would love to. So the town strategic plan is essentially our guidebook on the major initiatives and projects that we're going to be spending our time, money, and attention on. In this case, over the next 2 years. So we adopted with Town Council a plan back in June that will cover basically the budget year from this year to next year, and then the year after that. So all the way out into 2025. So some of these projects that we have are big enough that it's going to take that much time to really fully implement them. And so this is the document that really helps us communicate with the community here on the island and say, what are you doing? How is our taxpayer dollars being used? What's the priorities that we're focusing on? And so this kind of really lays it out for them in clear detail, what we're trying to accomplish and why we're trying to do it.
Yeah, and it's official. You have it right here in writing. So
so this is a draft we're working on. We're going to hopefully have the final copies that we can distribute to the public at a workshop here in a couple weeks. We're going to host a workshop with Town Council on August 9th. It's going to be our opportunity to really formally present this document and then start talking about, since the time that it was introduced back in January, when we really started formulating these strategies and tactics, what have we been able to accomplish? What's ongoing that's active, and what are kind of the next milestones that we're going to see? And then what items do we have planned for the future that, while we may not be working on them now, they are targeted to be put in place sometime during the period of this plan.
Yeah. All right, so let's back up and talk about that. So what have you been able to do thus far?
We've been working on a lot of things.
Yeah.
So Council in this strategic plan identified 15 of their top strategies. And the subject matter is something that's not new to island residents. So number one was developing a growth management framework. So something we hear all the time from the community, and we've laid out kind of about 7, 8, 9 different tactics about how we can go about doing that within this document. And then we're able to then communicate to the public what we're doing to accomplish those tactics. We also have things like working on workforce housing, another big topic that's frequently talked about, short-term rental management, implementing our capital improvement project. So those are all just examples of those top 15 strategies. But within this plan, there is a whole host of other actions. So it's not the only things that we're working on. And if folks want to get an idea about what those are, we have all of this information posted on our website. And then we also maintain a dashboard where staff, whoever's in charge of those particular tactics, on a monthly basis, updates that dashboard to provide the latest information on what's going on with the implementation. So if we're working on creating district plans for the Palmetto Bay Road area, staff member will be talking about, here's what's happened, we've gotten a contractor involved, they're working on our design elements. You'll be able to try to follow along with each of those elements. So if you've got one that's very important to you and you want more information about, it's a great resource to understand what's going on with those initiatives.
Well, and I love that you have somebody dedicated to that, because then they really know their stuff and they don't have to know a little bit about everything.
That's it.
Yeah. And in our last minute or so, let's talk just a little bit back, going to the priorities. Obviously, as you said, growth, workforce housing, short-term rentals, those are all kind of obvious ones that we would expect to have in the plan. But what are some of the other things that are in there real quickly, and how did you come to that decision?
So this plan was a combination of initiatives that Town Council identified as well as staff identified. And so it brings all those together in kind of one document. So if you look at all of the different tactics throughout the entire document, there's a substantial number of them. But just to give you some examples of some other ones that are outside of that top 15, we're going to be celebrating the island's 360th anniversary of sighting by Captain William Hilton, and the 40th anniversary of the incorporation of the town here in a couple of months. And so that was one of the tactics that was incorporated as, we need to spend time and money and effort into making sure that that is the kind and type of event that needs to showcase our island.
Well, Josh, thank you for being here today. So much work has gone into this. We appreciate you sharing with us and giving us those resources of how we can follow along.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. After a quick break, we're going to learn about a great program out of the Boys and Girls Club in Bluffton. Stay with us.